Hello, everybody. Welcome. I have a new look. I've my first video. I've had my head like this for 3 weeks now, or 2 or 3 weeks, and you guys are just now seeing it for the first time. It's how away I've been gone. But the last video I actually uploaded, I actually had my head like this. I had done it. I have done that video right before I did it. I was like a day or two before, but then I didn't upload it until like a day after I did it. So that video was kind of outdated for my look. But wow, do I look different? I think I look better, to be honest. How about you guys? Do you think I look Do you think I look better like this? I personally like it. I'm gonna keep it like this. I looked awful the last look. My head, I looked like a scene. Uh, but that isn't about that. This new look of mine is not about this video. It's about the big budget in video games and why they don't really matter. I think because these games have been proven to some of these games have been proven to have a big budget and they disappoint or they don't deliver. Rockstar really is the only one that I could say that has a infinite budget. Let's just say that. A budget that is endless. And they could make a profit out of it, and they could make it show that they put time and money and effort in this game in their games. Like Red Dead, for example, is the prime example of a big budget title and showing every little detail. God of War as well, even though it's nowhere near as big and nowhere near the scale as a Red Dead, but you can see the polish and the love put into it. Now, there are these games that feel like they're just going by the motions, bringing out a game because they have to, and they don't really have interest in it, so they just put things together. Anthem, for example, is that example. A game that is careless. It doesn't really, have doesn't really have a position. Doesn't really have a stance to be there. It feels weird. It doesn't feel alive. A game that feels dead. And that game has been in development for years as well. And that game also had a big budget. Now some of these games don't even have to have a big budget. For example, I love the game Oxenfree. It's an indie title, and I love that game. That game was pretty. That game was pretty darn good. Highly recommended if you haven't played that. Several of these indie titles are like that have a big, that have a lower budget and they're still really good. Devolver Digital is one of my favorite publishers and developers because they have a lot of these games that are low budget, but they're still really good and they play good. I don't like all their games, but they take a lot of risks. A lot of these companies like EA, Ubisoft, they don't take a lot of risks. They're very safe by the book. And that really sucks. Rockstar, say what you want, they kind of play it safe at times, I guess you could say, because they do what they do best. They're not really doing anything original, but they're doing it, and they're putting the bar up even higher. Like they set the bar, and then they try to raise it even higher. Like Red Dead 1 was the peak at that type of genre style, like Western open world game, and then they raised the bar again. They raised their own bar. So, Shenmue 3, I believe the budget is like $7 million. That's not going to cut it for that type of game, especially for a Shenmue game. It doesn't even look good, like graphically and stuff. I'm not saying graphics matter that much in games, but I'm saying for that game, you need those graphics to matter because Shenmue has always had technical achievement in graphics. Like Shenmue 1 and 2 were huge leaps in graphics because there was nothing that we ever seen before in that type of game before back then. Now it just kind of looks like it's a okay game. Yakuza completely killed this franchise. I think it took all the momentum of any chance this game being like nearly as good as Yakuza. I just don't see it being that good. I hope it is. I hope it is good. I've never played a Shenmue game before. You know, I probably will someday, but I don't know if it will exactly hold up because I'm not going to that game with any nostalgia. So I won't have that nostalgia effect where it's good or I believe where these certain things are good or not. So, you know, the nostalgia will not be a part of that game for me. There's so many other games that have had a big budget, like Destiny, big budget for those games, and they, to me, they're just subpar. You know, like they're not really amazing. I like the music, I like the level design, I like the gunplay, but everything else just lacks. I mean, the graphics are absolutely phenomenal. I mean, Bungie and their graphics are phenomenal. Just completely changed the game, you know, in terms of graphics. But the atmosphere and world is just boring. It's lifeless. I don't like that. So, you know, what are your thoughts on budget? Do they matter? I mean, obviously, they matter to an extent, but you can work around. If you're on a budget, you can work your way around it and still, you know, make a pretty decent game out of it if you execute it properly. So, yeah, and you can have the biggest budget in the world and still screw it up. Because if you don't know what you're doing, if you're not talented enough, or if you don't care about it as much, you're not going to put it in, it's not going to come out very good. So, and look, Mafia 3 was another one of those games. I don't know how big the budget was for that game, but that game felt rushed. You know, it felt like they were trying to put stuff together at the last minute. Like the missions, the design was the exact same. You go to a boss, or you go to an area, you stealth kill everybody, and then you clear out the area. You go back to tell them about it. They send you back to the same spot. The enemies are all there again, and then the boss is there. Like, what? And it was like that through the entire game. I can't believe that was the worst mission structure. That was the worst mission design in any video game, or at least any open world video game. It was awful. But this game isn't about Mafia 3. It's about budgets. But let me know what you think about budgets, about this whole topic in general. So, peace out. And I should be around again soon.